what the hell do you want?
Thoughts on the Lego Batman movie?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Alright, listen, we gotta pull this back. I fully believe that Lego Batman is the best theatrically released Batman movie. It's a really fun movie with great animation and a lot of quick jokes throughout that don't overstay their welcome. It's a good time, whether you know everything about DC and pop culture in general, or you've just woken up from a 150-year coma and have never heard of a Batman? Is it a super serious exploration of crime and psychology? Maybe not. Actually, yes, to that last part.
No shot you're saying it's better than the Batman in the Dark Knight. Wild. I genuinely can't tell if you watched the movie or not. Look, I like this Brick Eater as much as the next guy, but you're out here comparing him to the goats? He's putting lobster in the microwave and eating it with the shell! The Lego Batman movie is massively overrated.
This movie feels like the epitome of Batman discourse, but it's hard to say on which side of the spectrum it falls. It feels like for every other part of the discourse, it bounces around from good to bad in the wildest way possible. Batman works alone is one of the most common misconceptions around the character, and it's easy to understand why the general audience would think that. When we look at every live-action version of the character in the last 25 years, and yes, that does include Gotham, there hasn't been a Batfamily. There's been Alfred, Lucius Fox, Catwoman, but never a Robin or Batgirl. The only exception to this is technically Titans, which has the first 3 Robins and Oracle, but we never see Batman working with any of them. It's kind of wild that the last time we saw Batman and Robin together on the big screen was 1997. If you go any further than live action this century though, it's impossible to ignore the importance of Batman's relationship with others. Every Batman animated show features some kind of partnership between Batman and other heroes, usually with Robin or Batgirl, but sometimes with the Justice League or Katana? Brave and the Bold has him teaming up with everyone and their grandmother. There's the Arkham games, the Lego movie, the Arrowverse, DCAMU, and as you can imagine, the Lego Batman movie. He doesn't just have the Batfamily, which is made up of Alfred, Dick, and Barbara, but also the Justice League, Green Arrow cameo, and all the villains.
While that all may be true, the way in which he works alone should also be taken into account. In Batman vs. Superman, Batman works with Superman, but he tries to kill him first. In this movie, he works with Robin, but he doesn't care if it kills him. Batman uses the infant for his missions. If it was to reunite him with his mom and dad, I see the vision, but nah! He out here giving legitimacy to the Robin is a child soldier meme, putting the untrained kid fresh out the orphanage in Superman's death trap. I already know he's standing there thinking, what's he gonna do, tell his parents? He does not care!
He absolutely does, but we'll get to that later. There's not much beating around the bush here. It's literally what the movie is about. Addressing Bruce's loneliness and allowing him to become the Batman that we know and love is the point. He says the I work alone thing a ton in this movie, and it's supposed to be bullshit. It's not just an emotional need for him, it's a physical one as well. I mean, how are you gonna beat up all these villains on your own?
Hang on, are you trying to say that Batman can't handle this? Nah, now I know we didn't watch the same movie. Did you watch that opening? If there's one thing I will defend this absolute stud on, it is that he can box. Call him a curator the way he got the whole gallery locked up.
Video out now, go watch please.
Bro is out here dispatching them with ease. Pow, zam, kerplop, whatever that means. Give my man an iPod mini the way he's dropping the entire US military, including the nuclear arsenal. Heck, even outside of the movie, Batman is constantly folding the whole Justice League. There is a whole team of Batman
And woman.
who disassembled their entire universe. He's just that guy. Talking about the Arkham games and Brave and the Bold like that's not the peak of his power.
Right. So the opening scene is supposed to be a contrast to the big fight at the end where everyone has to work together to save Gotham. He can't take out the mountain of monsters that are poured onto the streets alone because he's not a god. In fact, he doesn't even apprehend the villains in this fight. He punches them, I guess, but they escape because he doesn't have anyone to work the bomb. No! He can't handle this. Not only can he not handle it on his own in the beginning, at the end he practically needs an army. He recruits the entirety of Gotham to win in the end. The opposite of what you're saying is true.
Nice argument. However, I gotta hit you with the facts now. This is still Batgod, not just Bruce God. And there's 4 of them. They're building a pantheon out here. Batman, Alfred, Robin, and Batgirl beat the ever-living crap out of all your favorite movie villains. The Gremlins? Check. Voldemort? Light work. Sauron? Extinguished. These things?
Daleks.
Whatever. These guys gotta be throwing down some pellets or something, because they're smoking all of these MFs. It's not like 4 normal people can do that on a normal day. And on top of that, one of them is a child and another one is elderly. They're simply built different. It's not just Bruce. The whole Batfamily is made of absolute units. Barbara Goatsden, Robin, Alfred.
Good that you mention it. The whole alpha male aesthetic is also a key part of the film. The influence of toxic masculinity is very obvious from the start. Bruce's loneliness as a result of shutting himself off from others and bottling up his emotions, which is one of the key parts of toxic masculinity as it affects men, is the driving force behind the whole film. He fits the alpha male role at the start, but only as a way of refuting it. His stubbornness in admitting he needs help, entitlement when it comes to admitting that he's no longer needed, social exclusion, lack of empathy for Robin, and general stoicism all play into this. Also, he's portrayed as really stupid, which is a perfect representation of an alpha male type.
Hate to break it to you, buddy, but I'm pretty sure that's an argument from my side.
It would be if that's where they left it. All these traits are directly addressed and refuted. Most of them are treated by Alfred coming in and telling him he's cringe. And honestly, I'm here for that. You're sulking in your cave too much, have a child. You're being too obsessive over the whole Joker thing. Your child now knows about the Bat Cave. You're being too mean to your child? Bonk. Green Arrow cameo.
Oh, for fuck!
Honestly, the entire cast is more or less built to destroy the alpha male narrative. I already went over Alfred, but Batgirl and Robin have the same effect. They pull him out of his solitude by force. But it doesn't end there. The Joker is maybe the most important part of the anti-alpha male story, and he does this with the power of gay. The movie takes the rivalry between Batman and the Joker as a romance plot. The first big mention of Batman being gay was in 1954 in a book by Frederick Wortham called Seduction of the Innocent. The most popular version of this was Batman and Robin being in a relationship, which is obviously weird given the fact that they're father and son, but there's other smaller elements to it as well. Often, like in the book, this is just homophobic drivel, but there's real elements to Batman's queerness. Kevin Conroy, being gay himself, wrote about how Batman resonated with him. The secret identity aspect especially played into this, and he's not the only person to think of superheroes that way. According to Jadzia Axelrod, writer of Hawkgirl and Galaxy, superheroes are a very queer kind of story. Most superheroes are in the closet. Similarly, Grant Morrison said that gayness is built into Batman. Regardless of how accurate this is, which is a matter of endless discourse, this absolutely applied for the guy that was the most popular version of Batman of all time. Applying that to Lego Batman, we can see that this experience with Batman was used to enhance the criticisms of the alpha male thing. A significant part of toxic masculinity is homophobia, not only in a political sense, as the whole alpha male thing is a fairly conservative concept, having roots in the long disproven alpha male wolf theory, but also in a social sense. At some level, we expect homophobia from men. This is why straight men tend to make so many gay jokes. This is why homophobia is integrated into gaming and meme culture. By having Batman's emotional climax lie in admitting his feelings for the Joker in maybe the most queer-coded context ever put to screen, it becomes a refutation of homophobia, and with additional context, toxic masculinity.
So if you help me save Gotham, you'll help me save us.
You just said us?
Batman and the Joker.
You had me at shut up.
Okay, I hear you, I feel you, I understand you, but you're wrong. It's important to keep in mind that this movie's target audience is children, Lego fans, and Batman fans, 3 groups of humans who haven't fully developed mentally. When it comes to underlying themes in kids' movies, we're talking about kiddie pool levels of depth. Presumably, they would simply view this as Joker wants Batman to appreciate him, which is something that they might actually be able to relate to. Do you remember that feeling? You're 8 years old, sitting in class, lonely in the corner playing with your Batman action figure, making everyone think you're weird? What, just me? Then the coolest kid in the class shows up. I mean, he skateboards, he plays soccer, he has success written on his forehead because he is successful. He just leaves you thinking, man, I want to be that guy's friend. So you do whatever you can to get his attention. That's probably the vibe kids would be getting from this. An implied queer dynamic between the funny man in Batsuit and weird green Super Saiyan with big lips would almost certainly go over their heads, especially with Batman openly putting the moves on Barbara Gordon.
That's actually a good point against the movie. Not the lacking analysis of queer coding, the Barbara Gordon thing. Yeah, it's just a really bad ship. I don't usually care much about the whole shipping thing, but damn! It's real bad. Like, you have the best Batman movie ever made, sorry not sorry, and then there's an abomination right in the middle of it. It's a travesty.
Because it's dog water! Putting Dick and Barbara in this movie and then not giving the love dynamic to them? Okay, look, this movie is clearly portraying Grayson as a kid, a very tall kid, but hey, good for him, and Gordon as a young adult. That surely is a decision, but a valid reason to not give them feelings for each other. But having Bruce crushing on Barbara? That is vile! Taking Alfred's joke from early in the movie, this man has already been batting since 1966, meaning he is at least in his 70s in this movie. He may look way younger than that, but hey, black don't crack. Even if we ignore the massive age gap, which is a big if, Barbara is Gordon's daughter, and Gordon is one of, if not the one and only, best friend of Batman. That is crazy work! Imagine if Jesse started getting zesty with Walt Jr. I'm kidding, don't actually imagine. This relationship was cursed in The Killing Joke, and it's cursed here too.
I will actually give the movie props for not adapting the version where Barbara is aged down. Before the New 52, she was more around the age of Black Canary and Batman than Robin. Outside of her relationship with Nightwing, it's better on basically every single front. Her spot on the Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, position in the Batfamily, and role in the broader DC universe as Oracle, it all just works better. It's not even like you can't have the relationship with Nightwing when she's older. That's how it started. There was a sizable age gap when the relationship started in 1999. Obviously, they shouldn't do it with a version of Robin who's 12 and a version of Barbara who's in her 30s, I want to say, but theoretically they can have Barbara be older without it being weird.
Nah, but that's crazy that they took Barbara, a character commonly shown to give Robin the lovey-doveys, and made her Bruce's crush. Let's not forget, by the way, that the basis for Bruce to love Barbara in this movie boils down to she's so hot. Look, man, I can't say that you're wrong. However, Barbara is definitely meant to be portrayed as a capable female character, which is made clear immediately from her introduction. But I don't think the best approach to achieving that is by having the titular character see her as a pretty object of desire. The redeeming factor here is that they don't actually follow through with the relationship, ending it with just a platonic friendship. But after seeing her through this lens the entire movie, this is just kinda weird. On the one hand, at least they're not doing the ship. Good job, Bats, you're not getting put on the list. But on the other hand, they set it up the whole movie only to go nuh-uh right at the end. And I don't know about you, but I did not watch the Lego Batman movie to get edged, thank you very much. It's like they realized halfway through that, hey, this is cheeks, and pivoted to make it a little better. But they were already halfway through, so they just kinda had to finish it. They don't commit to either idea, which just makes their entire relationship in the movie feel like a massive waste of time. Batman should invest his money into education and infrastructure instead of running around beating up poor people. No, that's not how it works. That's the opposite of how it works, actually. But in this movie, Okay, I was gonna make a joke here, but in the movie it is actually just a valid criticism. Like, the only reason any of these villains are even active is because the Jonkler is simping for Mr. Vengeance. I mean, I get it, don't get me wrong. Personally, I would also terrorize a mega city for some coochie. I mean, this man don't even need Viagra to be constantly bricked up. Seriously though, all crime disappears when the Joker hands everyone in, which is specifically to get at Batman. Now, I don't know when the Joker became such a dummy mommy, controlling every villain in Gotham like he's playing 4D chess, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, he does all this just so Dark Mode Moon Knight feels like he ain't doing nothing. And it works? So maybe this Batman should invest in helping Gotham.
It's about time we talk about the family in a little bit more detail, especially his relationship with Robin.
Yeah, I'll take this one. This version of Robin isn't accurate in the slightest. The only things they got right are his acrobatic skill, the fact that he was orphaned at a young age, and the fact that he's Bruce's son. Aside from that, this little clown is nothing like my goat. I mean, compare this to the Teen Titans show. That man was out here one-shotting robots. I mean, look at this! This man is a menace! This little twerp wouldn't last a round. It's free eats for this man. And he's played by Michael Cera. Who made this choice? Who hired this man for this role?
Okay. We get it. Robin's not great, but his role in the story is significant nonetheless. Another major misconception about Batman is that he can't or shouldn't be happy while being Batman. At the start of this movie, the answer to that question is No, there may be moments of satisfaction when he beats up a bunch of bad guys, but he's clearly deeply sad. That is, until Robin shows up. Only through Robin does he really embrace his capacity for happiness as Batman.
I respect where you're coming from, but you got it all wrong. Brucey Boy doesn't suddenly become happy when he has Robin. His happiness is directly tied to his relationships with Alfred, Barbara, the Joker, and the Justice League. I don't know how you're gonna put all that onto one child when it's at least a CW show cast worth of characters. Speaking of, this Batman is already a member of the Justice League, a group of people who he should be able to consider his true friends. People who, to some degree, can relate to and sympathize with his burden of carrying out justice. And just look how well that turned out for him. Which leads me to my next point. This man does not care about his villains, as individuals or as threats. At the start of the movie, when every bad guy in the city pulls up for smoke, how come all of them are running free? Either Lego Gotham's cops all lied on their resume, or Batman simply doesn't care to lock them up. And at this point, I don't even know which one is more likely. And then, to rub more salt in the wound, this man is stealing other heroes' villains! Bats, you already have the greatest rogues gallery in your verse. I mean, open your eyes! They're up there looking like the Kiwi thumbnail. But this glutton wants more? The rich truly get richer.
The climax of the film is specifically about Batman having to work together with his villains to save Gotham. His survival, as well as that of those he protects, is dependent on his villains. Of course he cares about them. That's a part of the thesis of the film. Okay, I'll give you that he probably didn't care very much about them in the opening. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if one or two of them died in that big fight. But he absolutely cares about them by the end. Clearly, he cares more about his villains than WB. Check the Joker just 1 year before this movie came out.
Yeah, that's very in character for you. Shutting up about the Suicide Squad movies was never in the cards.
True! Listen, that first movie had a lot of stuff in it that was weird. They acknowledge it a lot. They mention the Suicide Squad, then they call it a stupid idea, and then...
This is Katana. She's got my back. She can cut all you in half with one sword stroke, just like mowing the lawn. I would advise not getting killed by her. Her sword traps the souls of its victims.
If there's one way to show your love and support for your villains, it's shitting on the worst versions of them.
Oh, you think you're clever? Nah, hold up, because we haven't even gotten to my biggest point. If you think you can get away with calling my goat Ocean Master a fascist, you can't possibly think you don't gotta answer for this little brick guy's crimes. Batman is a fascist.
For fuck's sake, you're turning into me now.
Number 1!
Okay, cool it. This is my bit, I'll damn well do it. We'll use Umberto Eco's 14 points. Let's just get this over with. We've been over most of this stuff anyway. Batman makes a point out of tradition at the start, but learns to grow out of his ways later on. The film is a refutation of this point. Even then, the point refers to something else. Batman doesn't glorify ancient history like the Roman Empire, or put extreme amounts of emphasis on recent historical ideas that are seen as conservative, like the nuclear family. So this doesn't apply. Yeah, the same thing from the last one applies here. This just isn't really in there. This one... fuck, it is kind of in there.
Oh, it's kinda in there. Oh, you don't say. Well, Mr. the Kiwi, please enlighten the people.
Batman's stubbornness when the police drop the crime rate and the criminals all hand themselves in is kind of an indication of this point. It shows that his priority is just doing something, which in and of itself feels right to him. He's not actually fighting any specific enemy or broader phenomenon like violent crime, he's just doing something to do something. Now that's not really what this means when we're talking about fascism. It's more of a state action thing as opposed to a personal one. But if we stretch it a bit...
He does fight with Barbara Gordon a bit because she's opposed to Batman. My man was giving her the biggest puppy eyes ever, but the millisecond she dissed Batman, he turned into Drake watching Kendrick's halftime show. I already know he was malding. This MF hears the words ethics and accountability and goes, I hate everything you just said. You cannot tell me that this dude is alright. All she did was disagree with him, and this man wanted to do her in like Invincible did Angstrom Levy. Lock him up!
The fear of difference is usually characterized as an appeal against the intruder. Batman's attitude against Barbara Gordon's attitude to crime, Alfred, Barbara, and Dick being inserted into his crime-fighting life, and even the Justice League is nothing if not an appeal against the intruder. It just so happens that he frames his life around crime-fighting and the Batman persona rather than a job, housing, or the economy like most do.
Alright, that's enough. Look, you weren't supposed to agree with me on this one. You're messing up the whole pacing, man. Can you just speedrun the rest of this?
Yeah, fine. Yes, kinda, yes, kinda, yes, yes. He's a fascist at the start, but grows out of it. When all the stereotypes are put into practice, that's just sort of what he becomes. This movie is a direct refutation of these stereotypes, and therefore is about Batman rejecting fascism.
Well, with that, I think we've reached the end of this discussion. Huge thank you to the Kiwi for letting me show up on his channel to talk about LEGO Batman. For anyone interested, I have my own YouTube channel, TygerT, where I do silly little breakdowns of movies and shows, and another collab with your beloved the Kiwi. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And thanks for listening to our rant about LEGO Batman.
Definitely go check out his channel. It's actually super interesting how popular understanding of a fictional character of the caliber of Batman leads so straightforwardly to fascist ideals. It's a silly LEGO movie, yeah, but it's also an indictment of our culture as it's progressing. Pop culture has become obsessed with aesthetics and coolness, and this somehow means that we inch closer to the edge of extreme conservatism wherever we go. For a character like Batman to end up at that point, it's a bit depressing. We've had a few movies that emphasize these underpinnings as a part of the character, and a few that emphasize them to refute them. But we don't have anywhere near enough of Batman being actually Batman. Without the mischaracterization, without having to address all the misunderstandings, just Batman. With the Batfamily, with hope and with love. Hopefully the DCU can give us just that. But until then, have fun beating up Sauron and Voldemort with the gang, and don't forget to have a good one.
Nice. Hey, so you know I actually love this movie, right? I was just messing with you.
You what?
Yeah, that's what you get for waking me up, punk.
Oh, for fuck.
Oliver must have the craziest schlong for you to suck it like this.
Canonically, yes.
Frick does that mean? And you dare say the new 52 is bad?